Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary, and those of you that are regular visitors to the channel will know I've not uploaded in a couple of weeks, and that's simply because there's not been a lot going off. England haven't played a home game since last September against Germany. That feels a hell of a long time ago. And obviously England's last match was against the French, which we don't want to talk about, in the World Cup just before Christmas. So there's been this period with no England games. That's finally coming towards the end in about 4 weeks' time as of recording this video against the Italians. But I was looking back at that England squad that played in the World Cup and I was thinking, how many of those players are going to struggle to get into this first squad in 2023? So I think Southgate's got some dilemmas here, and there's also some players that arguably should be playing, but there's a lot of stuff going off in the background that will probably mean they won't get picked. So without further delay, let's take a look at what options Southgate's got, but also the dilemmas he's going to be facing in this first squad in 2023. So looking straight away, let's pull the England World Cup squad up, because this is the last squad that Southgate named, obviously, for the World Cup. So you've got Pope, Pickford and Ramsdale in goal. I think they're pretty much self-explanatory picks. But straight off the bat, let's get going. So we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody. Is Connor Cody doing enough really to get picked? I don't think so. You're looking then at Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire. I mean, both of those two players, they've not been great. I mean, Harry Maguire is almost like fourth choice centre-back now at Manchester United. But what does he do at centre-back? Who does he pick? You've got Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw probably comes back into the squad, doesn't he? John Stones does as well. Trippier, Walker, yeah, you would agree with those. Ben White. Now, interestingly, Ben White obviously went home, didn't he, during the World Cup for different reasons than Sterling. It seems like he had a fallout with the coaching side. So has that burnt his bridges with Southgate? We know Southgate doesn't like players who rock the boat. Clearly, whatever happened, it's been well hidden, but there's been plenty of rumours. There's clearly been a conflict there between, I think it's Steve Holland, wasn't it, and Ben White. But whatever that is, has that maybe put, a barrier in the way of Ben White being picked? Because you probably would say he still deserves to be picked in this first squad, but is he going to be now? I don't think so. But you're looking at centre-back, and there's a real lack of options there. Harry Maguire, I think, is going to really, really struggle, but he does play well for England, and he had a good World Cup, didn't he? He did have a good World Cup. But will he be picked in this first squad? I don't know. And I think he's going to get a lot of criticism, Gareth, if he picks him. So it's a difficult one there straight away in defence. So then going into midfield, this is who we picked at the World Cup, obviously. So we had Bellingham, he comes straight in. Conor Gallagher, I mean, it was a surprise pick anyway at the World Cup. So he shouldn't really go for this pick, really, because he's done nothing. He's done nothing since the World Cup, and he wouldn't be getting in my squad. Jordan Henderson, again, he's getting at the latter ages of it, latter stages, of his career. So is he coming in? Is it worth looking at other players now? James Ward-Prowse is one who's screaming out surely to get picked, because he didn't get picked, did he, for the World Cup? But what a fantastic player he is at the moment. So I would favour him coming in, really. You then got Mason Mount. Again, Mason Mount, what is he doing? What has he done? Chelsea are not on good form. In fact, you'll see on this list that most Chelsea players are going to struggle, in my mind, to get into this latest squad. But then who comes in for Mason Mount? There's other options there, but who might they be? You've got Calvin Phillips. Has he done enough? Declan Rice obviously playing in a struggling West Ham side. So there's issues that I think Declan Rice comes back in, but Phillips, Mount, Henderson and Gallagher, that's 4 out of the 6 central midfielders that he took to the World Cup. And you could argue that they shouldn't really be chosen in the next squad immediately after. So it's an interesting period. A lot of players haven't really pushed on, but then some players have really pushed on, such as Bellingham, for example, and we'll come on to another one in a minute who's a real standout performer. But looking up front then, going further forward, you've got Foden and Grealish. Foden's not done an awful lot, but he probably still comes in. Grealish has really come on. He's playing really well for City. He's one of their brightest options, really, going forward at the minute. You could still argue he should score more and assist more, but he's playing well at the minute. Harry Kane, absolutely fantastic form, playing really, really well. James Maddison, interesting, was recorded in the forwards. He was picked. He didn't play a minute, though. He did not play a single minute. But is he a player now who comes in, given what I've just mentioned about Gallagher, Henderson, Mount and Phillips? Does he now drop into that midfield area? I'd like to see him I'd like to see him picked, really, and given a game. I really would. Marcus Rashford, obviously, is probably the best English player at the moment. He's unstoppable, isn't he? He's absolutely unstoppable. He's scoring a goal a game, full of confidence, and for me, certain pick, and someone who's really pushed on now. Definitely will be starting alongside Harry Kane. Bukayo Saka, again, fantastic player. He's coming back in. Sterling, though. Does Sterling make the squad? Now, in an England shirt, for the past 2, 3, maybe 4 years, Sterling has been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. But he's not doing enough, is it? He is not doing enough in a Chelsea shirt. That's hard to say. He's not doing enough. So does he come in? You would argue no. You would argue no at the moment. You really would. And then you've got who was Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson, maybe he's doing enough. But the one standout player that I want us to talk about, though, is Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, at the minute, is the third highest goal scorer in the league with 14 goals. He's absolutely on fire. But there's all this baggage, isn't there, with him in the betting scandals. And Southgate's not going to pick him, is he? And it's exactly why probably he's not going to pick Ben White. There's too much going off. That's all that's happened. He's not going to pick him, but he's making himself very difficult to avoid. He's giving Southgate a bit of a headache, but we know he won't choose him. We know he won't. But what a talent not being used at the minute by England. I know there's all this stuff going off, but he's innocent until proven guilty. It's betting. It's not great. It's not great, but he is innocent until proven guilty. So for me, does he? I don't know. It's a difficult one. I can understand why I wouldn't pick him. I can understand why you definitely would pick him, but I can't see him getting a game, but he's going to be a player that England should be using, really. So yeah, there's some interesting choices for Southgate. Maguire and Sterling, the two really outstanding senior players in Southgate's era, probably shouldn't be playing, and the whole midfield, other than probably Bellingham, is open for debate, really. I mean, who comes in? I think surely now Maddison has to be, given a chance in that central midfield area. Declan Rice obviously will stay in just because he is still a very good player despite West Ham's issues. Ward-Prowse, you would suggest, comes in, but it's going to be quite a new look, or you would argue should be quite a new look central midfield area, in particular for England. And the issues at centre-back will persist, and they will persist for a long, long time. Is he going to pick someone like Mings again, for example? I don't know. But, there's big gaps in this spine of this squad at the minute, rather than up front. I think out wide, there's still plenty of options, even at full-back positions. But through the middle of the park, there's some real difficult challenges for Southgate. But now's his chance to do it. He's starting again with a new qualification campaign. He's staying on after all that, what that surrounded that. You've got to look at now ahead to the next World Cup, obviously the next Euros, but then also towards the next World Cup. So it'd be nice to see younger players given an opportunity or newer players coming in. It'd be interesting to see what he does, but there's some issues there, isn't there? So let me know what your thoughts are below. Is there an England player that you think should definitely be called up to this next England squad that probably hasn't had a look in before? Because there's some gaps opening up now, particularly with some of those senior players I've mentioned really losing form for a consistent period now. But let me know your thoughts below. I'll be dropping a video of my previews of the group and where I think England will finish within this qualification campaign. So look out for that video. Obviously, I'll be covering some home games as well. I'm in the ballot for the Italy game, so who knows? If I get a ticket for Italy, I will do a vlog of my Italy experience. It will be my first England away trip, so who knows? Probably not likely, but let's see. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all on my next video.